Hello? Okay, it's recording. Hello guys, it's me again, Watertoad. Saya tidak dapat tidur, jadi saya main game lah. Itu udah gue tempat tidur. Oke. Bagus pergi tidur lah kan yang sini. Di sini real life tempat tidur. Jadi saya tidur sendiri dalam game lah. Kenapa lihat masuk tuh nih?
The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key. Yes?
Can I help you?
Dapat tidur kan nih? Ya, saya cek Google dulu. Oh, memang terdapat pula apa masuklah di sini nih. Hilang satu perempuan. Kalau terdapat tidur sini, terpaksa ini siapa nih? Orang 12 ringgit saya bilang.
The woman still has her eyes fixed.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Subscribers and download.
Promising race pupil returns.
White Army akan
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that. There must be some friction there. He's keeping it well hidden, however. Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront polycultural capital, something your race, naivistic communists, never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic. Of course you are, Levasholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world order is the core of your race fate. All around you, the fruits of its defeat. Individualism above all. Rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music? Stop explaining yourself. No one cares about your beliefs. The conversation has moved on. Tell me, what degenerate subculture has made you dress in this shameful way? Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race. The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagite. We are the future. That I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulumbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
Oh, you did come from the islands.
No. I have heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. The city is central to the Seminoles strategy. Spreading through its trade network, you have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with, and never getting into the harbor.
I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
Oh, I didn't know.
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits, a protruding occiput, and an indented zygomatic bone. The lieutenant does not flinch. You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind.
Siya, nalas akong pigilan yung nabuli niya. Mas dapat internalize rin eh. Oh, sedang internalize nila.
Hello again, officer. I'm a Nighthawk. What can I say?
Odd.
Kahit tempat sebelum pergi ke sini nih. Fingerless glove. Interfacing ini electrochemistry tapi setiap perlu rasa.
A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. The sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open, and thus out of order.
Sekejap lah, kalau saya save dulu ini. Terus baru saya...
The sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock. Just some tasteless...
Terus saya login sampai dapat
The sign billboard has fallen on the water. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. These look like the same tire tracks I saw earlier, in front of the whirling rags. Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then, the sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently, within the past 72 hours. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast. There are two good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G22. It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came from the skinny tires frequently found on that motor carriage. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, undressed strippers.
strippers dressed as cops.
Very sturdy but light motor carriage. More likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long. You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis. A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque.
This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? You pull the lever all the way up until nothing happened. A spring brings the lever. Wasn't there a...
Oh, jadi mau tunggu Wednesday lagi ini. Wow. Wild pines.
Any theories about what happened here? What kind of car do you think it was? That's quite likely, from what I can tell. Oh. The traffic hooliganism? I hope not. Fortunately, we are not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder?
Somewhere in the depths of your alcohol-addled soul, you find a few threads that you can weave into a story.
The tip-top tourney champion?
The lieutenant patiently listens to the words coming from your mouth.
After quitting in Residency became
Jumping canals at night? If I was Jacob Irv, I wouldn't drive in Martinez. The roads are awful.
Shut down.
In conclusion, it's a colorful theory, but I don't believe Jacob Irv did this. Should we go? If we must.
I'm not expecting him to get far with this, the lieutenant consoles himself.
Oh, gila, makin banyak pula apa.
Yes?
Oke, sekarang baru mulai mengantuk sudah. Tadi saya tidur dapat.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved them.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to.
Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery. This must be the infernal machine that tore you from oblivion. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious carriage.
Oh,
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The raised per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Kinema comes to life with a whiny growl, like a leopard waking from its sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
oh,
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
ini pula maksudnya dia. Read the motormouse, no concern that kinema in life. Ini namanya kinema, namanya kereta.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kinema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window.
Ah, Martinez at night. Let me see. Right here. Oh yes. Coal City, Le Royaume, the burnt-out quarter.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least, maybe even 200. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth?
Only some boring office job semester 1. Got drunk like an hour for telling horrors and lies of DM.
No shame in working a regular job, detective. Sometimes after a long day of doing this, I even envy it. Let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see, wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
Yeah, so basically inilah ni maksudnya you're saying I used to be a super cop niya.
Call it what you want. You were a valuable member of your precinct. Now, let's look at the last row. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way. There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
Oh,
But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
gila. Karakter seni pembunuh lah kan.
Yes,
Oh, dia pun pernah.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. All this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Sudah level up sudah. Oh, di sini. I'm a super cop. Years. Ultra-liberal communist one fascist. Volition. Interfacing composure. Caranya oke saya rasa. Saya tahu. Accept change. Bila masih kita boleh tidur lah sebab apapun kita boleh tidur di sekarang di real life. Sini game pun setiap tidur. Di support di sini kan ya? Oh sudah, sini pula tuh.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Possible kalau saya balik-balik load game sampai dapat gini aja.
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to say. You have no clue. So many walls.
Brave show.
Just an ordinary wall. Because this is no ordinary wall.
Dapat juga.
It is sublime. Look at it. The shadows, the colors. All the other walls on all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this, the uncontested pinnacle of wallcraft, color peeled from the very face of God. O Wall Father.
Okay, I must paint this wall and even wall.
Huh? He sounds tired of it all. Cindy the Skull has all the necessary materials. Talk to her.
Sure. If you must.
Kalau sebalik-balik buat gini siapa kan panai apa kan nih? Elysium. Si Kim di panai apa kan nih? Malas udah sama saya. If I keep doing it. Udah termasuk. Masih lagi sana.
Hello again, officers. Have what for? Well, if it's for art, but what kind of art are we talking about? Sounds like you're just about to live out your self-pity, not make a statement. I can't have shit art on my conscience. You're about to cry internally, aren't you, Piggy?
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type. Yes, guess what's yours? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
Ini suggestion lagi nih.
Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
Couple types.
Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, Liquid Shadow cop. But what? Jealous of? They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copo type from sorry to anything. No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the repentance. Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe that won't happen.
Jauh gelasnya.
Hello again, officers.
What for? Well, if it's for art. But let me stop you right there, Piggy. You have no idea, do you? No idea. No brush? Fuck off. There, Piggy. I guess art just isn't really you. 'Cause you suck in life and in everything.
Cetak orang gitu-gitu.
Hello again, officers.
What for? But boring. You're not using my lovely brush to spread Well, if it's for art. But what kind of... Then you have time to find your own fucking brush. You're about to cry internally, aren't you?
Apa tidak tuh?
Hello again, officer.
What for? Well, if it's for art. Sounds like you're just about to live out your... You're about to cry internally, aren't you, Piggy? Aww.
Seluruh orangnya.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type. Yes, guess what's yours? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
Lagi Copo type nih.
What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. Don't worry. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copo type from sorry to anything. Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, liquid shadow cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go? No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million. That won't happen.
Pada kasih kurang lagi authority nih, ya bagus. Balik game masih lagi tidak gitu betul-betul paham.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. It towered over the harbor until it happened. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water, a straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line. Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the shelling took out was never rebuilt. The waves of the Martinez Inlet roll over the fallen remains of the building. The dark waters obscure the better part of the remains. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't used as scrap was thrown into the ocean. A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate Revachol.
The coalition. But that was a long time ago. I think we should move on.
He does not like talking politics of this kind.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? At this matter of fact, I don't. I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see.
Old, huh? I think I have that too.
Don't worry. It's curable. With questions. Ask me some. It'll help pass this night.
Voila, you're doing it.
Why, yes, I am rich. How much money do you need? Hopefully not too much. I couldn't bring all of it with me.
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more?
Dapat kini 130. Yang
That
dapat
she's
sebelum
into?
bayar orang bos.
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You illustrate the expression by holding an imaginary and very, very tiny P.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they are properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its...
Cukup duit sih mau bayar orang kalau gitu. For damages. Siap-siap setnya kalau 10 dapat banyak-banyak lah daripada tuh.
You're back. Good. What can I... Matter of fact, I don't. I have a medical condition. Don't worry. It's curable.
Voila, you're doing it.
Why, yes.
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this.
Come now. Nobody carries that much cash on their person. Particularly in a place like Martinez. I'd get robbed. And even if I did, I still would not give you 10,000 real. I would rather buy something nice.
Her tone makes clear that you violated some kind of rich person taboo. Wouldn't be the first time.
I like high fidelity anything, sir. That's a good sum. Not too...
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. The paper is cold and oily to the touch.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still,
You illustrate the
You're right, ma'am. That donate.
which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I...
Nah, lu tuh boleh bayar satu orang sampai tidur udah. Maybe also tidur in real life. Gila, terus hilang satu music.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window, 130 real. Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to...
He shrinks back a bit.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an not until...
Okay.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Jadi wah, tidak bro, saya ada duit sudah.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. I'll unlock the electronic lock to your room. All the doors lock automatically at 9 p.m. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Zaman cuma mau dapat duit lagi. Cuma cek hari ini bro.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
Did you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will, and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit. Yet, were he to quit, he would lose the cool factor. This man relishes his cool quite a bit, beloved.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man, so we didn't even inspect the body. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
He would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
I look forward to that. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Evrat Claire, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the White Pants Red, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
Bisa pakai tuh Joyce tuh. Saya lupa siapa Joyce.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Joyce, apa lagi
Above
Joyce?
all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
What are out?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
1,000, why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is what it is. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Courron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government and the moral intern, more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed. They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me. The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
That's another leitmotif associated with moralism.
But the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me. Do you? My kind of police officer.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. Me too, but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Mau guna map nih. Kasih dia reaction speed. Cuma tidak tahu apa macam mau kasih naik level tuh. Cuma tidak tahu apa yang ngam sama saya nih.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's you. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes. And then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes. Maybe it's the bed's fault.
Macam begini juga langsung sekarang nih. Tempat tidur nih.
It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still something to do with. What was it that the lieutenant said? Union? And it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brainwave. Something to do with. What was it that your breathing steadies? A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
Kita nampak plot karakter sih. Mimpi dia kan ya.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? What it says on the can, Harry? Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth?
Thighs between her legs and in her mouth.
You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone.
Harry.
Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand on the bottle and the other on your dick. Watching her go. Let it all be dragged away from you. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Useless. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is wearing thin, too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins, stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Kecap saya tidur tuh. Kecap berapa lama saya main nih?
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. You won't make it. Half the town will be dead by then. You will be fired.
Oh, am I kidding? Of course I want speed. That's like I can do this with Ayala.
Suit yourself, slow, sad shell man. See how you do without your spark.
Itu Sheila dulu guys. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.